Good afternoon, everyone. I'd like to thank everybody who can make the call today. I am very, very excited to share some great stuff with all of you. But first, let's check if everyone can hear me okay. Just type yes into the chat box below this video, and then we can get started. Perfect. Great. Second, if you have any windows open, please close them out or minimize them. If your phones are turned on, turn them to silent, put them in a drawer, or even better, just toss them in another room. This webinar won't be very long, and I don't want you to miss anything because it's packed full of stuff. And we're really, really excited to share it with everyone. Well, now that housekeeping's out of the way, here's what we are going to cover in today's webinar. Like I said, it won't last very long, and it's just jam-packed with valuable info that you could take away with you. I'll go over who we are, a brief background on ourselves, how we started helping laboratory scientists. Then I'll show you some examples of those who have really, really benefited from our stuff. And then I'll tell you how you can get these revolutionary solutions yourself and implement them in your lab. Please make sure you're asking questions in the chat box below so we can answer them for you at the end when we are finished. So my name's Alan Brower, and I am the marketing director for Chorus. Chorus was founded back in 2007 as a research and development company. We designed, developed, and implemented some really, really amazing stuff for institutions, facilities, and other large office buildings. Now, we are comprised of mostly engineers and some of the smartest minds in the industry. Seriously, graduates from MIT and just really great people who truly care about making a difference and a dent in this world. And we got started by wanting to help others solve their pains. So I'll tell you a little story on how we got involved in the laboratory market. One day, we get a phone call from a large research university, one who's actually implemented our strategies into their whole campus. They asked if we could implement what we were doing throughout the entire campus, specifically in their laboratory. We thought about it for a second, and us being the engineers that we are, of course, we said yes, and we developed solutions specifically for the laboratory field. Since that moment, we've helped many, many research facilities, laboratories, and universities all over the US. Some of our clients and prospects consist of medical universities, the USGS, Fish and Wildlife Services, large medical research facilities, and many, many others. So now I'm going to share with you how we've saved labs millions of dollars in grant money and decades of research with our system. This one lab in particular was expanding and moving their laboratory over to a new building that was being built specifically for them. They had been using our solutions for just about a year prior to this move, and were extremely happy with our systems that we had in place. So the day came and they finally moved all their equipment, all their freezers, all their incubators, all our coolers over to this new building. Well, little did these researchers know, the building was set up to be energy efficient and shut down everything after hours. That means all the research specimen, all the samples, everything they've been working on for years was starting to be compromised because the building was shut down. And the worst part about it is these scientists had no idea that this building would shut down like that. Could you imagine? Well, thankfully, they had our solutions in place. And the minute the specimen started to be compromised, the principal investigator, all the scientists, the building manager were all notified immediately. This saved them millions of dollars in grant money and decades of research that they had put into their specimen. Don't you think that's one heck of a lifesaver? Can you recall a time that you had a close call? Maybe not millions on the line, but a substantial amount of time invested? Sure, we all do. Now, speaking of time, I'll show you how we saved one campus. One university lab had several facilities all over campus, 3 facilities, in fact. After talking to them in depth, we've realized that they'd been spending hours dealing with compliance, and it was one of the biggest hurdles they were trying to overcome. They were spending an hour a day at each facility on compliance tracking, on monitoring, and that's 15 hours a week wasted on monitoring the lab, checking temperatures, writing notes down on paper, and then putting all that info and data into an Excel file. Not only was time being wasted, but the chance for human error was always in the back of their head. An audit, a missing documentation could mean they'd be shut down until the issue was resolved. And it had already happened to them once before. With our help, they gained those 15 hours back and now use them in places that really matter. They're spending time in areas they are passionate on, research, on making an impact in the world. Not only can they focus more on their work, now they don't have to worry about human error or loss of data tracking. Audits are no longer a concern for them, and they are extremely, extremely grateful for what we have done. Now, I can continue with success stories, but instead, I'll tell you how we did this for these labs and how you can implement these results into your labs and facilities as well. We've developed some amazing SEF software and technology solutions that allow any laboratory to implement these into their existing facility. With an easy plug-and-play system, in just a few simple steps, you can start receiving alerts to monitor and track the temperature inside your cryogenic freezers, coolers, incubators, and facility itself. You can monitor the rise and fall of temperature due to power outages, someone leaving a door open, or the failure in a freezer. It's extremely ideal for compliance because our system tracks the temperature multiple times per minute and stores the temperature readings, which can easily be accessed later on. At the click of a button, you can easily pull the data that once took hours to input and monitor. Now, these are actual screenshots from Columbia Medical Center, so you can see what a live dashboard actually looks like. And they were kind enough to let us use these and share them with all of you. And on top of this, your IT department will love us because we've patented the way you access this data. And we never touch your facility's infrastructure, which means no holes in the firewall. Now, before I present to you an opportunity, I want you to take down my cell phone number and save it in your phone. That is, if you didn't toss it in the next room already. If for any reason you have any questions, you can pull out your phone and call me directly. It's 848-992-0990. Yes, this is my actual cell phone number, and I'm not shy to give it out. So take it down and save it, and feel free to call me if you have any questions. So, if you're interested in this type of solution and want to see how easy it is to implement, click the button below this webinar video, fill out the form, and we'll discuss with you a few ways to implement this. We'll also send you information regarding our solutions. And on top of that, for the first 10 scientists to inquire, we'll optimize the layout of your facility to make the most of your systems. This hands-on experience is worth thousands of dollars by itself. Do this, and believe me, the only thing you'll be sorry about is that you weren't on this webinar 6 months ago and didn't get started sooner. Click the button below the video and fill out the form. I'm Alan Brower with Chorus, and thank you for attending this webinar.